Welcome back, everyone, to another week of Shonen Junk. This week, Quintessential Quintuplets. We just got back from the movie.
You watched it? What?
Yeah, we just got back from the movie. It was a fun time to see it. Yes, I did watch it. If you listened to our last Manga Monday show, you will know that I started binging it, and I read it in probably about 2 days. It's the fastest I've ever read anything.
It's that good, guys. No, I mean,
I had a deadline.
As we explained before on that episode, or as we will explain if you haven't listened to it, I was planning on watching this on my own or reviewing it on my own because I love this series, and I feel like we've made a commitment to review anime films.
Yes.
It's, a fun thing we can do for the YouTube channel. But Ben saw it coming up, and he decided to jump on this series so we can both do it together. And now, here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
First thoughts, Ben.
The movie is really well paced. It's a good culmination of the final chapters, the final around 40 chapters, 4 volumes of this series.
Yeah.
First thoughts? I mean,
well, this is kind of like new experience for you. So
in terms of reading, all the way through, top to bottom, this is the first romance. Now, I've obviously seen things with romance. I've seen slice of life with romances, but in terms of this is a romance, it is about the romance. It is about how he gets married from A to B.
Yeah, first chapter it says he's getting married to someone. I wonder what
How
this
I
could
Met
be
Your
about.
Mother, final season of How I Met Your Mother vibes. With the wedding and all that stuff jumping back and I guess they did that the entire series where they jump back and forth from the wedding.
So that's why I kind of told you this is like a How I Met Your Mother vibes. Because it's like, hey, let's the bride's calling for you. Oh, I wonder who it is or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't want to get too deep into the storytelling of it and what I think about that. If you want to listen to that, for the Manga Monday show, we're going to do an entire half-blind Quintessential Quintuplets review where we're going to have our entire thoughts on the series. But in terms of the movie, this is where we are. This is why we are here. And Edgar, as a long-standing fan, as somebody who's been... When was the first time you read this?
It's not that long ago. Probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago almost.
Yeah.
So
good movie?
This does take me back. Oh yeah, great movie.
Good movie.
I watched the anime both seasons and I couldn't wait, so I just read the manga afterwards.
Would you have preferred this to be an anime, or were you happy it was a movie?
I liked it as a movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that this inherently perfectly matches. Oh yeah, this is a perfect film.
Yeah.
I mean, it works as a film, but stuff like Demon Slayer works perfectly as a film because of how it feels very episodic in a sense. Like the entire thing feels like a big episode.
I do see what you mean. This movie, there are times where the screen goes to black, and I go, okay,
this is where the episode
that
went.
was the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Because if I read it, I bet you that is where the chapter is going to end.
And that's where the positive lies. It does feel like it's exactly a continuation from the anime, through and through. Pacing was really good. Animation was, wasn't inherently big movie budget, but it was a better quality.
I've seen some clips from the anime in the past couple of days, and I don't think it looks inherently great. Do you know who animates this?
The first studio that animated it was Tezuka Productions, but then they changed. If you watch the anime, there's a clear change in the character designs. They look the same, but they're slight.
For better or for worse?
Good, for better, for better.
Okay.
They're it's more a tiny bit more faithful to the manga. Futaro's I think at the first season of the anime, they didn't know what Futaro's eye color was, and then the manga I'm pretty sure was they're brown, and then the first season they're blue.
Isn't that just wild? I think nowadays a lot of more animes and mangas they contact the mangaka and they're like, okay, what in this frame? What do you think this looked like?
Oh, I mean they only care about the girl, so we get their eye color.
Oh yeah,
and then just put something for random for Futaro.
Yeah, but Futaro, I mean, a lot of times Futaro, I looked at him and I was like, man, this guy. Sometimes when his eyes covered by his hair, I was like,
or whatever
man,
you want to call
he
him.
looks like a hentai pro tag.
Yeah,
at times, but then that changed.
It does. Moving forward, even in the manga, there's a slight difference. It shows his hair.
I think I changed beyond chapter 10. I think the mangaka might have caught on.
Season 2 in the film switched to Bibri Studios animation.
This movie was. I told Edgar after it finished, I said this gave me diabetes with how wholesome and how sweet it was.
Yeah.
Because I was really
not in a bad way. I was you were like, this gave me diabetes, and there was a pause. I'm like, what?
No, I said diabetes in the sense of it was really wholesome, and it was really. I think it was a good ending. It's definitely. I do think that mangas have a opportunity to have really bad cliche endings. So it's always good to see somebody kind of just stick their landing.
Love is
really
and
well.
romance stories, they really tend to falter in the end. And just for those who are like about to post in the comments, I gotta say, Quintessential Quintuplets has a very strong fan base in a sense that a lot of feelings were hurt, and I feel like because of that, they do not think this ending is good because of who end up choosing. But from the get-go, you have to realize that this is a story where only one winner wins. So you have to like kind of
I guess you could say love is war.
Gotta take it gracefully, and you gotta kind of suck it up and deal with it because that's how it is.
Well, that's easy for you to say. Your choice.
Yeah, my choice won, baby.
Yeah, your choice won, and we won't say who that is. You guys saw the video beforehand of who I chose before the movie.
I bet. Hey Ben, we're watching Quintessential Quintuplets. Who do you think is gonna win? Who's gonna be chosen?
I think it's going to be Miku. Let's go, Miku.
Because Edgar knew what was going to happen. I had no idea. It's a miracle sometimes when you don't get spoiled on a manga. But this, I wasn't spoiled. I read it in such a quick amount of time.
You had no time to check up.
I had no opportunity to spoil myself, for anyone to spoil it for me. It was the same thing with Hell's Paradise, where it's really nice. The story is just unfolding in front of your eyes. It's really great. Do I think it's the best thing on the planet? No. But it was it's just a fun, laid-back series.
I'll tell you this, though. This is like in tip of the iceberg. There's so many good romance stories in anime and manga, and there's a lot of better ones. But if you like read or watch as much as I do, this will be like, oh, thank God, a good one.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think this is like a good one with a good ending, because there's some that I still enjoy that have like dissatisfying endings. Yeah. And I'm glad that this is one of them that just works. Or
some that are just stretching it out. Rent a Girlfriend is one of them. But yeah, I mean, if we talk way too much about this, we'll start getting into our series review, which we want to talk about in the Manga Monday show. Overall thoughts, Edgar? Should you go watch this movie? Tell us if you should go watch this movie as a Quintessential Quintuplets fan, as a romance fan, as an anime fan, or as a non-anime fan. First, Quintessential Quintuplets fan.
Yeah, go watch it. Are you kidding me? You got to go support stuff like this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Romance fan.
Yeah, it's a good story. Obviously, read the series first, but it's such a wholesome vibe.
Let's say anime fan, like, I only watch One Piece and Dragon Ball. Should I go watch this?
Yeah, but again, you got to read the series, because I feel like watching a One Piece film or watching a Dragon Ball, because I watched a Dragon Ball film. I watched other Dragon Ball films, but I haven't watched them like a lot of almost none of the anime. But that's like a kind of different thing. This is like the end of a story, so I would recommend to watch the series or read the manga.
Watch the series or read the manga first.
Yeah,
definitely.
so probably not unless you've read it. Or
I
watched
would
it.
read, if you're only reading and watching shonen or seinen, I would read some more slice of life stuff before you do this. I think if I got thrown into this immediately after watching only My Hero Academia, I would have been like, what the hell?
Yeah,
what is this?
There's
Gross,
like a rule within the watching anime or reading manga community. It's always you always start with the battle shonen, with the Dragon Ball, with the One Piece, the My Hero, the Attack on Titan, and then there's the next level with romance and slice of life. That's where it leads.
You gotta find those feeders. You gotta get used to it. I genuinely think lots of people are missing a lot of good storytelling, like some of the greatest stories of all time, in my opinion, just because they can't get past the anime-isms. But this movie, full of anime-isms. I'm not gonna lie, the girls, they were kind of making my ears bleed.
5 main girls, so they're all gonna be talking a lot,
and they're talking really high, like, and I'm like, oh God, like my brain was
a dog is like, I'm out.
No kidding. And then Edgar, for someone who's never watched anime.
No. You're just gonna be like, this is garbage. Like, how do y'all watch
I would
this?
never take my girlfriend to see this at all.
Like, this is weird. Or
this is weird.
She'd be giving us a girl perspective, because we're two
course.
guys, and this is a very guyish story.
Yeah.
No way in hell would one guy have a shot with 5 attractive women to
and definitely not the one with Futuro. Like, definitely not like his style.
He's a bookworm.
Like maybe one I could believe, but all 5, no.
No way.
But I mean, it's a harem anime. Yeah, so I mean, that is what it is. We can't not continue on talking about this without going into spoilers. So if you have not seen the film, go watch the film. Come back. If you haven't read the story, go read the story. It was a lot of fun. And if you want to know more about the story, come to the Manga Monday show. We'll talk about it in full, and then come back on here.
Yeah.
Edgar, look at you, all dapper, all dressed up.
I suited
in
up, Ben. It was a
yeah.
wedding. What did you expect me
Yeah,
to
he
do?
did. He did dress up as a wedding. I was underprepared. I was
the only guy wearing the
underdressed.
suit. So I
Yeah.
was that guy. I'm sorry, people. I was that guy. I just had to.
Yeah, it was funny. I thought it was really
I have
funny.
the official badge of degeneracy.
Yeah, I have a picture right here. I'll put the picture up right here of Edgar wearing his nice little suit. Well, I think the movie starts off with him at the wedding, right?
I mean, there's like
Yeah.
moments like that. Very How I Met Your Mother-y.
Yeah, and it's like at the end of every arc or kind of every saga, it's like you get a scene from the wedding, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
and I've
yeah,
kinda, it's like those scenes in One Piece where the world builds and like you see Shanks or Whitebeard and you're like, oh, we're getting more lore.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know a lot of people don't like the How I Met Your Mother ending, but I genuinely think they handled this much better than How I Met Your Mother.
Well, yeah, that's for
Yeah.
because like at least in How I Met Your Mother, it was clear that there was only supposed to be one. So
Yeah.
it's not like a who's a winner. It's clear that Robin is not.
Yeah,
it's not the mother. In
And
that.
also, we only met the mother like in the last season too.
Yeah.
So that was a big issue.
and then she died.
Yeah, and then she died.
And then they just go back to another
yeah,
Robin. And
You're
so-
right. You're right.
In this case, it's like it's really a question of who's going to be it because
Yeah.
there's 5 identical girls and it could be either
Mhm.
one of them.
Yeah, it could be anyone. And then we get a nice little. Edgar told me that there are more chapters of this in the manga. There was a nice little trip to a water park, weren't they?
I
Yeah,
think that-
they were live.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Gross. First of all, water parks are gross. Don't go to water parks, guys.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
just go to the beach or something. Nasty. Don't go to
Yeah,
water
go.
parks.
I don't want any human pee. I want fish pee.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's,
I mean,
thank you
come
very
on.
much. Like,
yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But you know,
I mean, it wasn't that many chapters, but they
Yeah.
did comprise a chapter or two from that water park scene into like a slideshow, like an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is what they're doing. They've been having fun, whatever. Some people might hate that by cutting out scenes from the anime or manga, but
Yeah.
that's not, it's not inherently important.
first part of this movie is all about setting up the
School festival.
school, and of course it's a romance. If
You'll
you
know-
have a romance and slice of life. Like
Dude.
I told this
Yeah.
this Edgar last week. Romances, sometimes they pick and choose what tropes they have, and sometimes it's like, oh, we're gonna have a firework festival in this one, but there's always a school festival,
Yeah.
in a romance. But it feels like Quintessential Quintuplets just went, oh, you want me to pick and choose? Just kidding, there are 5 of them, so I can't pick and choose. Bam, here's all of them.
Oh my God! Do you remember that moment, like at the beginning of the theater? Because at the beginning, it showed like it's like they're at the wedding,
Yeah.
and like, oh, the bride wants to see you, and like, I wonder what she wants, and then it's all of them dressed up as the
Oh,
brides,
yes.
and I just told you, psych, it's all of them. He marries all of them.
I was like, let's
And-
go.
I was like,
You
let's
know? But I did tell Edgar last night. My theory was that they're all the same person, and one of them suffers from schizophrenia or
Yeah, Futaro's thinking like, oh, there's 5 of you. Like, honey, what are you
well,
talking
not
about? Just me.
schizophrenia, multi-personality disorder. You know?
Oh yeah,
So it's gonna be like a Mark thing. From,
yeah, I'm like,
from
oh
Moon
my
Knight.
God, I
Yeah.
did not. What? That's not. You're in the wrong genre, buddy. Like, you're
I
thinking
think-
Black Mirror.
I think if they did that, I think there would genuinely be riots on the street.
It'd be much darker
Uh,
series if that
no,
were the case.
No, definitely. But I mean, it could be wholesome.
School
Like-
festival
School
arcs
festival.
are super hyped.
Yeah.
You'll learn in shonen anime, it's like, oh, the war arcs, man. They're like the top tier of like of
Yeah.
certain arcs. And then once you get into love romance series, like school festivals, they're like important.
Yeah,
because
it's so
of-
funny because Shonen is like, oh, it's a school festival arc. Gosh darn it.
yeah.
you
Who
know?
needs that?
Exactly.
And then in romance stories, they're like, oh man, school festival arc.
it's
hyped.
like the war.
But
arc,
it's like
yeah.
the best arc, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but it builds up to the festival arc. So not much happens before then, right? I can't. I
No.
know I just saw it. I know.
I mean, to be honest, I know we just saw it, but I was kind of clocking out of this part. Not clocking out, but I was kind of like, okay, where's this build-up gonna
They're
lead?
catching up to each
Yeah.
other. They're catching up with
Yeah,
each other.
and of course, I mean, Yotsuba, there were a lot of nods to her being the one, but I think probably one of the biggest nods was that her and Futuro became the class representatives.
They did, right?
Yeah, both of them were class
Yeah.
reps.
yeah, I remind you, I haven't seen the series in a while. I have finished and
Yeah.
read all of it before watching this movie.
We
It's
couldn't
just
be
been.
more different.
Yeah.
I'm hot
Ben,
off the press.
Yeah, Ben literally. Yeah, this is opposite. It's like
I'm
one.
hot off the press.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like- yeah.
But yeah, so they're both like leading this thing. The movie doesn't necessarily start for me. Like it starts when we get the what ifs.
Oh, okay, I
you
see what you
know.
mean. I was talking about this because like once we're at the school festival, and then there's a segment with the third day because Futuro promised all the girls that he would give give his answer on the final third day. And then they start doing this segment, and it does it in the manga too by chapter names. If Futuro spent the day with Itsuki or with Ichika or with me, like all of them. And to me, when I read it, I thought that they were all canon. Now looking back at what the manga called them, the chapters, and the movie called it says, if Futuro chose this, whatever. And I'm like, okay, so it wasn't real? And Ben says like it was what if scenarios. I mean, that would make sense. To me, it could be convenient enough for all of it to happen.
I believe. I agree with you. I don't think all of it happened. I believe some of the scenes did happen.
Obviously, the scene with the biological father happened, and all
obviously
that with Itsuki.
happened. But I think in terms of what is the canonical actually happened, I touched Edgar's leg halfway through, like when Thierry.
Not in a weird way.
Yeah, no.
He was letting me know, like,
I'm gonna put up the clip right now when Henri like touched Carragher's leg when the Arsenal manager or the Liverpool manager got sacked, because all of the other stories with Miku, with Isuka, with
Itsuki and Ichika, yeah.
Ichiki
and Itsuka.
and Itsuka. Once again, hot off the
press. Wait, Ichika and Itsuki.
Yeah, Ichika
I'm
and
sorry.
With them, a lot of their stuff it didn't really connect with the main story or the true story.
Miku was very kind of like a side story. Like
no,
it wasn't
definitely.
that integral.
I mean, I kind of felt like that scene was like straight off of a fanfic. Like that's what it felt like to me.
I just felt like with the subplot between like the boy and girl stalls, like okay, this is like filler in a sense, but not really.
Oh yeah, like their whole thing burned down.
I thought like, oh, did someone die? I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Moment that made me touch Edgar's knee was because when they said that she fainted, and that was in her story. In the real actual story, he got a message saying that one of the quintuplets fainted. And
so that's what makes me feel like that's real. You know what I mean?
And then also the next day, because we didn't get that filled in part, the next day he sat down on the stairs, and I think when he started dreaming, that's when the what if sequences happened.
Okay.
And then at the end of Yotsuba's, it connected towards the end of hers because she kissed him at the end with the Ren thing.
Yeah.
So I think Yotsuba is the one who was canonical and was real.
Okay.
And I think that they're giving you.
I just thought they connected because like at each third day ending that they gave to each of the girls take place in different times. So in my mind, I'm like, so it all could be real. They just took place at different times.
Good on the mangaka for not spelling this out for us, by the way.
Yeah.
Good on the I always love when I leave stories, whether it's a play, a movie, a television show, where I leave it thinking, oh, was that? What was this? You know?
There is a definite answer. I just need to like you're probably right. I just need to like look back on it and clarify it.
But which one was your favorite out of the stories?
You mean the what ifs?
Yeah.
Itsuki's with her father felt more canonical. But I like Nino's a lot because of her thing with like trying to get her father to come to the festival.
That was nice.
It was really nice.
I think I like Yotsuba's the best.
Which one?
Yotsuba.
Yotsuba.
Yeah. I think I mixed Itsuki
I know.
and
I don't blame
Yotsuba's
you.
name.
You read it in 3 days. Like I don't blame you.
It was 3 days, guys. But Yotsuba, her ending like genuinely kind of moved me. She was like, "Oh, I guess I gotta let him go," and then she kind of started bawling, and I was, "Oh God!" Like hers was To be honest, I probably should have guessed at that point that it was her, because hers was the only one that didn't have that happy kind of ending with it. So I do think Yotsuba was the best one. I think that the worst one was probably Ichika. I think the worst one was Ichika, in my opinion. I think that one was kind of just shoehorned in.
For me, it was, shoehorned, yeah. But for me, the weakest one was Miku. But Ichika,
how dare you?
Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. I know everyone hates Ichika.
No, I agree with you. I do think probably Miku's felt most like it was fanfic.
Yeah.
Like I
think the nicer moment was when they on their date with the aquarium.
Yeah.
I like that moment better.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you. I think that, it's funny. Edgar was making a whole bunch of anime references. Like when they visited the penguins at the aquarium, you were like, what if Lloyd was walking in the background like in Spy Family?
Yeah, because that penguin episode.
Yeah, and then also like when they were at the school festival, they were like, and then they see Eri and Mirio.
Because of the concert, whatever.
Yeah, the concert,
the rock band.
And then there was one other one. I don't remember what it was, but there was another one where you're like, and then blah 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 and blah 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 show up, and you're like, what the heck?
It's because the scenario. It's because like a lot of these animes, they have like such similar locations.
Yeah.
So like, hey, look, they could be here too.
Yeah, definitely. Probably what is gonna be the most underrated moment for me was definitely the time when he got that bro time with the two dudes.
Yeah, I like that.
Like
their friendship was really surprising.
Yeah, the only regret I have for this series And I understand why it's a romance, but the only regret I have is that there wasn't more guys in it. What I really like about Nagatoro right now is 2 other guys show up later on in the series, and I read the manga part of it, and I was like, this is brilliant. This is just what the series needed.
Humans are humans, and they have guy friends,
They
you
have
know?
Exactly, and that's what I really liked about this movie is that they were like, hey, dude, we're bros, you know? And I was like, I just didn't feel like I've seen enough of that.
That was a funny segment in the not Kyoto trip, on the skiing trip, because
Takeda, right?
Yeah, or one of them, like they chose groups, like, all right, who's gonna be with him, and then like the guys just end up hanging out or something.
Yeah.
Or it was either that or the Kyoto trip. But there was a moment where like, all right, who's gonna hang out with Futuro? I'm like, oh no, us guys, we're going together.
The guys are.
We're bros. Like
exactly. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Quintessential
Who needs girls?
Quintuplets, more like the quintessential
bros or something, right?
No. But yeah. So eventually, obviously, Yotsuba, if you're still here. Yotsuba wins. But I mean, I think we got him.
Yotsuba.
I mean, they all win in their own respective kind of ways. Yotsuba is the one who eventually gets him at the end, and I genuinely think that when I started the story, chapter 1, I was like, if there's somebody who I wouldn't pick in a million years, it's you. She's by far the dumbest. She's too much of a, look at me, I'm an anime girl, you know? But in reality, when sometimes people look like the flattest characters, sometimes they actually are able to have the deepest. And I was telling Edgar about this yesterday, and I was like, I smell it, it's Yotsuba. I smell it, and the scent is good storytelling. I realized from the moment when in the field trip arc, they were holding each other's hand, and Yotsuba was holding his ring finger. And I
didn't catch that.
Yeah.
That was a really good, I just looked back on it, and it was a really good catch.
Yeah.
When Futuro got sick, and then they were holding his hand because of the bonfire, and they were supposed to dance with him.
I think, honestly, the sweetest moment in the entire series is the moment when they're at the park together. I do think that's the best moment. And obviously, like Edgar said this earlier, Futuro, his most happiest moment, and the first time he kind of laughed in the series was with her when he spun around
on the swing. Yeah.
On the swing. And it was really great. For me, reading it yesterday and watching this movie and seeing it pay off in real time, it's kind of like, oh, you know, it's kind of crazy. So it was really interesting to learn about all these characters. And I think it's a testament to how good the story was and how good the mangaka did, is because I actually felt something. So really good job.
I do believe that Yotsuba was a perfect choice. A lot of people don't feel that way. Again, feelings were going to get hurt. Obviously, the most popular ones were going to be Miku and Nino.
Miku was my choice, but I think Yotsuba is. Yeah. I think it is perfect for Futuro. Why do I'm thinking? I want to say Fujitoro, but that's somebody different. Futuro. Just remove the J.
Don't worry, the guy is the important part. It's all the girls.
Yeah,
it's about the girls.
Like, but I still messed them up. But but Futuro, it is perfect for him. And I mean, Edgar talked about it, that she's the one that supported him all the way.
Yeah, she was the nicest one. She was the nicest one. She kept showing up. She was like the one that always stuck by him in the very beginning of the tutoring sessions. Albeit she like eventually picked up things, but that's because she likes helping out a lot of people as well. And eventually all the girls get around to him, other than Ichika as well. No one was really on his side other than Yotsuba. And even from the very, very beginning, as kids moving forward, they were hoping each other would be successful in each other's lives.
Yeah, but even Ichika was sometimes going against his own self-interest.
She was very selfish.
From beginning to end,
she was selfless.
Always going selfless. That's the word.
Go.
She was always going for the happiness of others above hers. To be honest, is one of the reasons why I fell in love with the person who I'm with now. You know, so I get it. I get Futuro's. Yes, I got Futuro's. I get it. I 100% agree with his choice and where the story went. So that is really great. And also it harkens back to that backstory where, what was her name? Reina. Yeah. Yotsuba tells him basically what her dream is, and that entirely changed Futuro's life. Yeah.
He was a punk, and he was like a, completely different person.
The reason why he is hardworking, why he works for his family, for his sister, the whole reason this series happened is because he's getting that salary shmoney, baby.
Yeah.
And so that he can help out his family, just like what Yotsuba wanted to do as a kid. So she completely changed the direction of his life. So it makes sense. It's kind of their fated, I don't want to say they're fated to be together because that makes it sound like the story is cheap, but because a good story that only relies on fate is not a good story.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good storytelling. Even though the way that it's told isn't the best. But I mean, it's a romance anime.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are going to tell you the plot outright. Sometimes they are going to do all that stuff. So yeah.
But this one does a lot of things that others don't, not just from an anime, but from a romance perspective. And not many times do we get a gag work so well like this. Like, oh, it's 5 identical, and then like you think, okay, I guess I can see where it's going, but it really doesn't, because it takes in a lot of loops.
It does take a lot of twists, and that's just what I ask from romances, bro.
Yeah.
That's just what I ask.
I'm tired of generic stuff. Can we get some? I like the good, interesting
Yeah,
stuff.
Horimiya is like one of those. Were you sad that we weren't able to see them kiss at the we didn't see them kiss at the altar?
No, that's something you gotta kind of get used to in romance anime, because they hate seeing them kiss. They hate drawing each other kiss.
Kisses are so hard to draw, though, bro.
They are
so hard to.
Can one mangaka like just draw it, or can one anime show them kissing?
Chainsaw Man.
No, not that.
But instead,
no barf. Minus the barf.
Sometimes you get throw up in the mouth.
Oh no! Nisekoi, another great series, but albeit takes like too long to get there. Like, yes, we finally know who it is, who the girl is, and then the last final chapter panel is of them kissing, but it's blocked by like some leaf or something. I'm like, you can't do your job. It's like,
what are you doing?
But it is really satisfying, but it really is a bittersweet ending for those who rooted for another girl. Even if I was hoping for Yotsubo to win, and it was still bittersweet.
Yeah,
it sucks seeing these girls get their hearts broken and moving on and kind of grieving from that loss.
I think there is realism that comes with that. To be honest, if this were in the real world, the girls, if they genuinely liked the same guy, they would be at each other's throat,
and they would not stay for. Yeah. I mean, they're sisters, but it would be.
Yeah, there would be some definitely more tension, and maybe that would have been something more interesting to see. Is more of them at each other's throat, because there is a part where
Nino against Yotsuba.
Yotsuba,
she kind of pushes Yotsuba.
No, but somebody slaps Nino. Remember when she ripped the paper? I
know who you're talking about. It's when Nino,
the girl with the earphones. She said,
Miku. Yeah,
yes, Miku.
I think Itsuki was the one that slapped.
Itsuki was the one that slapped her.
Yeah. Itsuki was the one that slapped Nino for
caused that disconnect, because they moved out of the house after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it would have been nice to maybe see a little bit more. But genuinely, a part that kind of tugged my heart was Itsuki, when she was like, Yotsuba is that way, and none of it else matters. Let me take care of everybody else who's grieving.
Yeah, if you worry about everyone else, it'll only get worse.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
And I'm glad that the mangaka faced the music towards that, because they could have just cut away. That guiltiness of having to choose between separate people is something that a lot of people have had to do. Choose between two people, and sometimes you make the right choice, sometimes you make the wrong choice. And I'm glad that the mangaka made him face the music a little bit and didn't let him get off without
feelings have to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about the? I kind of hate it when we get a ending and we get to see like an epilogue, and then they kind of jump 5 years. But in this case, it's not like they've been married for 5 years. It's kind of like they go to college. Life happens.
I mean, but the difference between this is it's been building up to the wedding moment, so they have to do the time skip.
And we've been kind of seeing bits and pieces of the wedding.
And it's not like it doesn't not make sense. And I always hate to point it out, but Dr. Stone, when the time skip, it's a time skip to have a time skip sake, because it's a manga and it needs to have a time skip. When the time skip makes sense, it's a good trope. But most of the time, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Because sometimes it would make sense to end your story.
Yeah, I felt okay with it here. Like, I was fine with it here, and I was just wondering.
I think it's great. Yeah. And I liked the flashback to when they were choosing the.
Yeah. A lot of people were confused in that, and so was I. But not only for a little bit. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, so it was a dream. So like none of it happened.
So it was all a dream. So Miku could still be chosen."
So Miku, right? Miku.
Yes, let's go. No,
but a lot of people, I remember reading a lot of people. Oh yeah, so it was a dream. Like no. no, because
I was scared, by the way, when they did the what if scenario. I was scared that they were going to end it there and it was going to be like a choose your own adventure book story. And
no.
I was like, mangaka, you wussed out. You wussed out.
No,
Don't do that.
That would suck.
No, don't ever do that. No, don't.
No.
Start wrapping this up. Edgar, final thought.
Great story. Really love it. Great romance. Probably love it more than most, and it's one of my favorites. Just because I'm a sucker for romance stories, and it was pretty funny at moments and times. And it wraps up fairly short, like 100 and a little over 100 plus chapters or something. A lot of other series like this stretch it out way too long. Not just Rent a Girlfriend. You got Nisekoi. I love Nisekoi, but 300, like I think it's like 200 plus chapters, and there's like a lot of stuff that could be cut out. So this is wrapped up fairly nice and sweet. Great ending.
I
great
always think it's something special when a manga can finish within 100 to 200 chapters, like Hell's Paradise.
In a sense, Chainsaw Man ended that way. It's continuing, but it's like a different part.
It's a different part, yeah.
Yeah.
And arguably, we don't even know if Denji's going to be the main character of the series in the second part, so we don't even know.
In this case, it was wrapped up really nice. I do recommend to see it if you watched the anime, if you read the manga, if you're almost done with watching the anime and read the manga. I definitely recommend to finish that up and watch this while you can. It's not in many theaters. Just wait. It'll probably stream on Crunchyroll if that ever happens.
We're releasing this fast so that you can get to the theater fast because it's not going to be in there for long, guys. We did not have a lot of people in our theater.
No.
Yeah.
But Ben, final thoughts on what you felt about this film?
Good. I think the film was a good ending to the series. Is it going to be in my top favorites? No. If somebody's going to be like, oh, what manga should I read? Am I ever going to point to this? No. But I think that in terms of a romance, you scared me when you told me to get into this because you were like, it's going to be weird. I don't think it was weird at all. I just think it was a fun, because I think that harem animes, it can get a bad rep, especially with how characterize women.
Or they just make them
the
bland
story.
and like there's like no personality in them, especially in the male main characters.
Yes,
you know.
But I think this story worked so well. The thing is that even though Yotsuba won, the other girls
they became better people
through the betterment of themselves and through figuring out what they want to do later on in life. To be honest, for mangas, I don't think romance stories just being romance, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And we've read and we've seen those mangas and animes where romance is all it is. It's not enough.
And why romance needs to be something other than just romance is because in real life, it's mixed up with comedy, with tragedy, with drama. It's not all clean and simple. Crazy stuff happens. A romance story to be good, it needs to have all that in the mix.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. Yeah. I'm excited. This is our first ever non-seinen, non-shonen review here on the Manga Monday show. It only took us about like 8 months, but now we're here and we'll take a look at some other stuff.
Love is War is the biggest recommendation.
Love is War, obviously, that's the next thing I'm gonna watch. But I haven't watched My Dress Up Darling. I also hear that My Senpai is Annoying is a great show. I actually auditioned for that a couple of months ago.
That's a good one.
It's a good one. So there's a lot of stuff coming on the horizon. And if you are excited about that stuff coming on the horizon, please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe button. Maybe share it to all your friends.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. Tell us what you thought of the movie. Just maybe even call us stupid poo-poo heads.
Ew,
That's
cringe.
fine. Cringe.
Harem
exactly.
movie.
Harem anime. What? Gross?
Yeah.
That's completely fine. We love you guys. I'm Ben Stigmeyer.
And I'm Edgar, the degenerate.
The Jim?
The degenerate. I'm Edgar.
We'll see you guys on the next Manga Monday show.
See ya.
Peace.